Welcome back, everybody. Joining us from Washington with a look at Axios AM this morning, national political reporter for Axios, Jonathan Swan. Jonathan, good morning to you. Talk to us about Axios as one big thing. Well,
as usual, there's two narratives going on with Donald Trump. There's the public on Twitter where he's with the family separation crisis, where he looks completely unapologetic and brazen, doubling down, tripling down. But last night when he met with House Republicans, according to sources in the room, he did reveal that he feels the political pressure from this issue in a way that he's not revealing publicly. He talked about how his daughter Ivanka had shown him the images and they were bad, or talked to him about the images that was bad. He talked about how it was nasty, they had to fix it. And in that setting, he definitely didn't project the image of someone who thought that this particular issue was a political winner, which had been what you could have gleaned if you've been reading his Twitter feed.
That's a pretty interesting point that you brought up about Ivanka, because I want to ask you about that. I know that Axios is reporting the president's daughter, Ivanka, has in fact been very vocal about the families. As you mentioned, he brought it up in his meeting with Republicans yesterday. Tell us more about that. Is her voice actually going to make a difference? Is she someone that he is going to listen to and actually take into consideration as he makes his next steps?
Well, to be clear, I mean, when this stuff comes out, people say, oh, it's Ivanka, log rolling, trying to look like a liberal hero. This, I have neither spoken to Ivanka nor anyone close to her. The first we learned of this was from sources in the room last night. Trump himself brought this up. It doesn't surprise me. She does do this on just about every issue where, she feels passionate about it. She's done it on the Syria strikes last year, climate change. Look, will it work? Depends what you define work as. Will he climb down from his policy and make an administrative decision to change the family separation policy? I've seen no evidence that he's going to do that. He's done what he always does, which is get a grenade, roll it into the room, and ask Congress to deal with it.
So you don't see any reporting to indicate that the president is going to cave and sign a more narrow immigration bill that would really just address these detention centers and these separations?
Well, that's a different question. No. He could very well sign something if Congress produces something. I'm saying I don't see any indication or evidence that he is going to order Jeff Sessions to change their policy. Remember, this is their discretion. They decided to enforce this zero tolerance policy. Is Trump going to come out tomorrow and say, you know what? We're not going to call it the zero tolerance policy. We're going to call it the kinder tolerance policy? I'm not so confident that's going to happen.
So what is then the saving grace for all those involved, including the president, if he is on one hand feeling boxed in and, as you mentioned, then throwing the grenade into Congress? Are we likely to see Democrats and others go with a comprehensive immigration reform bill? And if not, what is a short-term fix to this?
Well, the answer to your first question is an overwhelming no. There are people more qualified than me to explain why that's, based on how dysfunctional this Congress is, why that's just about impossible. But will they attach some provision to the defense bill that in a narrow way solves this issue, or at least creates provisions that keep their children with their parents while they're going through the justice system? That's possible, but again, it's Congress. This is not a group known for solving problems.
Yeah, in my head while you were talking, I was thinking of like healthcare and all the other issues that we've been trying to solve since day one of this administration. Not a lot of traction on any of those things. Jonathan Swan, let me ask you though, really quickly. One of the things that kind of struck out yesterday, following his dinner with the Republicans on the Hill, I should say, he headed to a dinner with an allied advocacy group where he riffed about the new embassy in Jerusalem. Slightly off topic here, but what did he claim that is making news in that dinner?
Well, so I spoke to a source who was at the dinner late last night, probably around 11 o'clock, and they told me he went on this riff about the embassy in Jerusalem. He said he'd learned that it was going to cost $1 billion to build, and he says, so I called David Friedman, that's his ambassador to Israel, and I says, David, and he says, I can do it for $180,000, and Trump says, you're making me look cheap, David, get the good marble, spend $400,000. So anyway, I have no idea whether that actually happened, but it's what he said. said to the group last
Sounds a lot like him, though. I
was going to say, I wonder if he's going to have like a lot of gold on the embassy there in Jerusalem. Very fitting for that city. All right, Jonathan Swan, live for us in Washington, D.C. Thank you very much. Of course, we're going to be reading Axios AM in just a bit. And to all of our viewers out there, you too can sign up for the newsletter by going to signup.axios.com.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.